Hi Alva Valley Schools, welcome back to part 2 of our assembly where we're exploring the book An Emotional Menagerie, Feelings A to Z. So, lots of people have been asking where this book is from, how can they get hold of a copy? The publisher of the book is the School of Life, and inside the illustrator is Rachael Saunders. Okay, so that's how you can get that, and you can search for it online if you are interested in a copy. So last week we started exploring the book and we met 3 different emotions. We met anger, which the book likened to a roaring caged lion, but it taught us that actually anger is fear in disguise. And then we met boredom. And boredom, do you remember the emotion boredom? It was a bit like a jellyfish that would come up and sting you when you're unexpectedly. Now, I've been thinking about boredom this morning a little bit, because actually boredom, although we might think of it as a negative emotion, something we don't want to see, the book reminded us that it's a clue that we're doing something that we don't really like doing. And I was thinking about that a bit more this morning, and I was thinking actually the reason why I'm a teacher is because of boredom. Not that being a teacher is boring, it really isn't, it's far from it. But before I was a teacher, I was doing a job that I found really boring and dull. And I was watching the clock and I was struggling. And so then I decided I wanted to do something different and something that I really loved to do. And that's how really I started the journey of becoming a teacher. So although we might think of boredom as a negative emotion, actually sometimes it's the thing that makes us think to do something different. Okay, so it can give you a clue, those emotions. And then we looked at curiosity, which was a bit like the magpie, pecking and looking and wanting to learn more and find out more, which brilliantly describes our Alva Valley learners. You are a curious bunch, and we should never stop being curious and wanting to learn more. Okay, ready for today. So today's emotion, we're going to start with D. And D is for daydreaming. So if you were going to have to think about what kind of animal could that be, I wonder what you think. Have you got any ideas? Let's read it. If daydreaming was an animal, it would live in the trees, staring out at land and sky, forgetting what it sees. It slouches in those moments when we let our minds just wander and lose track of the time as we invent, imagine, ponder. We might say we are lost in thought. Perhaps we're miles away. We're letting idle fancies free to wander where they may. Our thoughts are wandering. We're just letting our imaginations go. Some grown-ups don't like daydreaming. They'd rather we were working. They think it's a distraction from important tasks we're shirking, don't want to do. But daydreaming's a kind of work. It helps us clear our brains, so thoughts we've as yet just half thought can now make themselves plain. Try to daydream once a day and see what comes to mind. Perhaps write down the thoughts that come and see what you can find. And there is our animal for daydreaming. Can you see what it is? Do you know what that animal is? If not, I challenge you to do some research and to find out more about that animal while you're thinking about daydreaming. E. E is for embarrassment. If embarrassment was an animal, it would have a coat of spines, and when it feels it's being watched, it grows to twice the size. Have you ever felt like that, when you feel a bit embarrassed and then you feel like everybody's looking at you even when they're not? It gets puffed up when we're on show and we feel too exposed. Maybe we've called our teacher Mum or spilt food on our clothes. Who's ever done that? Who's ever called teacher Mum? Lots of people. It makes us feel humiliated by stupid things we do, or mortified that people stare and sometimes giggle too. Others seem so self-assured, so confident and cool, whereas we're awkward, somewhat odd, a stumbling, bumbling fool. But here's the truth, so's everyone. We are all just fools at heart, We just don't know each other's thoughts, can't spot the foolish parts. To deflate our embarrassment, to make it go away, to deflate it, to let it go down. To deflate our embarrassment, we should laugh at our flaws, own up to all our weaknesses, and greet them with guffaws. And the animal, in case you didn't guess it, for embarrassment was a pufferfish. Another really interesting animal to look at, where they start off small and then they puff up. Really interesting. Okay, one more for today. F. F is for fear. If fear was an animal, it would have 4 skittish feet, 2 pricked up ears, 1 twitching tail, and rather large front teeth. It burrows in when danger strikes, or when we feel it's near. When lights go out, strange noises sound, and our fate feels unclear. That's when that emotion of fear comes on us, isn't it? We might say we feel anxious about what might take place, or nervous that we might be hurt, or ruined, or disgraced. The world can be a scary place, and since we're only small, it's natural to be fearful of dangers that might befall. But sometimes fear grows too big and burrows in too deep. It stops us from enjoying life. We feel sick and lose sleep. The best way to get rid of fear is to tell someone we trust. For everyone gets scared sometimes. Sharing helps us adjust. Super, super important if you're feeling scared to tell someone that you trust. And the animal for fear, it's a bit like a rabbit, or could be a bit like one of our guinea pigs, that when they hear someone coming, they just freeze. Okay, that's it for now. I hope that you take care, that you stay safe. Have a think about those emotions. Have you spotted boredom creeping up on you, or curiosity? Or maybe you can spot some of the emotions we've talked about this week. Maybe you can definitely do some daydreaming. See you later, Alva Valley Schools. Take care.